Forgot to record. That is so important that we go out there and we literally, if we have to, fit it in our schedule. We just have to add 5 to 10 minutes into our day where we start to develop these relationships with these customers out there, because it's the difference of what could be the difference of just developing, if there's 100 customers, what would be the difference of just developing a relationship with 15 to 20 to 25 of those customers? What's the difference right there? What could that be the difference of?
They could refer customers to us.
Yeah, it's $2,000 to $3,000 just in monthly residual. If you're a regional director, that would be almost darn near your whole open line to qualify. You'd be qualifying just as that right there. Just by developing the relationships, and there could be customers that have fell off. And you don't necessarily have to, if you know that your promoters won't do them, could you guys take all your customers, all those customers, and put them in your own little Facebook message and just keep them all in a message, just talking to each other, your own little accountability group, even though the person that introduced them is peaced out? You know what I mean? Stuff like that, like connect. So that was part of our action steps, was connect the new customers and promoters to the upline to ensure their next steps. Follow up with 3 a day from the funnel, log into your back office and check out the dashboard, connect 7 more 3-way calls to people that you were following up with to your upline. Who connected any of their 3-way calls to their upline of the 3-way calls that they were doing per day?
I never could connect them, but I finally got one on the phone today.
Congratulations.
I think
So are
I
you
got
doing
one.
it 3 a day, or are you still doing your cold calling, people talking to people out in public?
I am going by my list now, and I called 10 people, and I left messages, and I got a hold of 2 people,
Good
like
job.
on another day.
Good job. Good job. So keep it up, because your activity will eventually lead to
Customers.
productivity.
Productivity. Okay. Got it.
Activity will eventually lead to productivity, because what it is you cannot control, and it's something that we went over last week too, was where you can actually, where to focus your time and energy, what you can control. And then the last one was complete all the unfinished steps from weeks 1, 2, and 3. Action steps was to log on and watch the Vet Development Pattern with Kyle Passetti, the Success Mountain with Nick Sarnicola, and Building Confidence with John Apar. Did anybody watch those at all?
I couldn't find the one with Nick.
I did.
I couldn't find the one with Nick, and then John Apart, I couldn't play it all the way through.
Yeah, hers froze up on me. I tried to reload it a million times, but I got the gist
that
of
would
it.
happen to me too. I found Nick's and I found the development pattern. So what'd you guys take from those right there? Because this is where, you know, and if you haven't been watching them, it's fine. I would highly recommend by going through these videos and making sure you're watching them, because the purpose of watching these videos is it brings and it ties everything together. So you're getting the content, you're getting the information, but without watching the videos, it's like the glue that holds everything together. So right now what you're doing is when you're listening to all this stuff, you're getting all the foundation, and then when you watch the videos, it brings everything together. Okay, it brings everything together, and especially if you're completing the action steps. So what did you guys pull from the videos that we watched last week?
I pulled from the development pattern, don't know everything, like refer them to vet. I don't do very well with that, so I need to work on that. And then I liked John Apar's when she was referring to the life-changing gift rather than asking for something.
Yep. We love that. Okay, perfect. Anybody else?
Hi. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
Yep.
I was looking at the one about on control with Nick. That same wind blows on all of us, and it's how you set your sails. That one kind of resonated with me. It's just like, you know, that's true. Everybody's got the same issues. Everybody's got the same problems in life. It's just how you look at those things that, you know, can make a difference. It's how you think about things, how you word things.
Now, is that the couple ones from a couple weeks ago, the one that you're talking about? Or was
No, that was let's see. That was the one about focus on what you can control. What was the other one I was looking at? The one with Rondo Lucero. Was that last week's or this week?
Last week's was the vet development pattern with Kyle Passetti,
Kyle, yeah.
Success Mountain with Nick Sarnicola, and Building Your Confidence with John Apar.
Okay. I did watch them. I write the notes down because when I put on the spot, I can
move on here. So make sure you watch those real quick, so that way we can move on with this lesson here for everybody on here. This is not me trying to be a dink to you guys. Okay, this is not me trying to be like a doucher, trying to be really hard on you guys. Okay, so it's like 8:30 at night. You guys all have families. We all have families. So if we're not intentionally going through this education right here, if we're not intentionally growing right here, if we're not intentionally doing the action steps right here, there's really no point of any of us being on here. So thank you to the guys that actually are going through this intentionally, that are following the program and the process right here, because what it is I am giving you guys everything I have. All I ask is you give me all that you got. You know, you take one step, I'll take two. Okay, so if we're going through these programs here, the purpose of this is not to get together and just constantly hug all the time. So, it's not for us to like always be hugging and happy and blah, 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 blah. I mean, yeah, we want to have fun and we want to do this. But if we're literally just limping through this program, and if we're not stretching ourselves, if we're not properly learning how to lead, if we're not going through this stuff right here, are you guys ever going to be able to teach your folks how to go through this? No. Because you won't know the same struggles that they went through. Who's busy on here? Guys, I'm busy.
Everybody.
George is busy. Dave's busy. Pam's busy. Katie's busy. Morna's busy. Diane's busy. Carol's busy. My mom's busy. You know, everybody is
Busy.
So that's not an excuse. It's not that we don't have time. And I'm going to go dive into the rest of this earlier here, because this is kind of goes into the weekly goal. I'm assuming this is why Nick wanted this in here. So last week's goals was to go out there and get 3 customers, 3 promoters. And then with the promoter, we wanted to get them to the Get Started training, the welcome call, set their own schedule. So let's go ahead and what I'm going to ask you guys to do is, this isn't really in here, but I'm going to ask you guys to do this because I know this particular group. Continue to develop the relationships and connect with those customers, especially for y'all that have open lines. Connect with those customers down in your downline and then really develop the relationships with them, get connected with them, or the promoters in your downline that are maybe kind of sitting by the road that are just kind of left. Because even if it only takes 2 to 3 minute phone call just to say hi, how they're doing, and if they want to get re-engaged, just put them in a little Facebook group. You know what I mean? Just a little accountability group, and then just put them all in there, and then just kind of let them feed off each other. Let them motivate each other for you, so that way it doesn't take you guys a lot of time. But let's go ahead and dive in for the month plan for lesson 2. The goal for this week right here is to enroll 1 customer and 1 promoter personally this week. 1 customer, 1 promoter personally here this week. Help your promoter that you already have in your business enroll a promoter or a customer this week. And what we want to see is help a personal customer refer a customer. Okay? One of your customers refer a customer.
That's a good idea.
So, environment. So the greatest influence over you is what? So like who, hold on a second. I guess I was going to go another different way, but I can actually talk to you guys. Sometimes this situation actually has to be handled with kid gloves, okay? And actually we talked about this at our local success training here locally at my house. Dave was there. And it is it's a hard one to have. So this is something I wouldn't recommend you guys going to have with your not maybe necessarily your brand new promoters just exactly yet, but the greatest influence over who you are is your environment. Okay, so basically who you surround yourself with. So we typically spend more time with people we work with than we do our own family or than we do our own family in our lifetime. And so this is what I love about this business is eventually you get to choose who you guys want to spend around with your time. You get to choose who you want to work with the most here. And this is something that is always resonating with me. I remember hearing this back in the day. But, I mean, if you think about it, who in here has a job? Who in here has ever had a job or worked a job that was 40, 50 hours a week, typical corporate style? Pretty much everybody. George, Morna, Pam. Okay, so it's basically everybody. Do you realize that you spend probably you spend the majority of your life with people that you don't like more than you actually spend with your family or your friends? You guys realize that? We spend more time with our family because if you think about it, you wake up, you go to work. So for 8 hours of that day, you're literally sitting next to people that you really probably don't like or care to be sitting next to or working with or you're that smarter with or anything like that. It's interesting when we spend so much time around people that we don't even like. I mean, and even if we're the entrepreneur, even if we're the business owner, we still are spending around time like that. So what the general rule is the 5 people you spend time with the most is who you will become. So for instance, if you hang out with fit people, a lot of the people that you're fit, what are you most likely
Going to get fit.
Fit. If you hang out with people that are hard workers, you're pretty much probably a hard worker. If you hang out with lazy people, you're probably
lazy.
If you hang out with people that like to, you are who you come up with. So if you hang around with goal-driven people that are entrepreneurs, eventually you will become goal-driven and entrepreneurial, because it's really easy to hang around somebody that's lazy all the time if you want to be lazy because you don't feel like you're underachieving. You don't feel like, you're not living up to the potential that you should be. It's just much easier for you to get away with a lot of stuff if you hang around. That's why you'll watch I think you guys have get the point of that right now, right? So the circle of 5. So what you want to do is, this is where I ease into this very easily because some people can get offended very easy with this topic. And this is why I've been kind of stuttering, and because it's really hard to ease into this, but I'm just going to dive into it. But basically what you want to do is add up the circle of 5 people that you hang around with the most. And what you want to do is, for instance, add up their happiness. So add up like on a level of 1 to 10, add up everybody's happiness level, okay? Divide that by 5, and that's right around where you will be. On a scale of 1 to 10, that's right around where you'll be. So if you're hanging around with your 5 people, and they are generally a 3, 4, 3, 4, and a 3, where do you think that your scale of happiness would be on a level of 1 to 10? Where do you guys think?
3.
3 or 4? Because you're hanging around them all the time. Eventually, you will become who you hang around with the most, and it's just the way that works. Now, you also can do this on a financial level. Add up the 5 people that you hang out with the most, and I mean the most in your life. Add up all of their incomes and divide them by 5. That's right about where you will be. So this is a touchy subject. What I say is because some people will sit there and think, I've never had it before, but I've watched this training get done in a way some people can take this. Some people will take this like, well, wait a minute. Are you saying I should stop hanging around my mom? Should I stop hanging around my sister? Should I stop hanging around my brother or anything like that? We're not saying that at all. But choose your environment wisely and choose the amount that you're letting in wisely, because are we surrounded by a lot of negativity out there? Like good people, but they are just surrounded by so much negativity and just bleeds off into you. Guys, it is so crazy sometimes the way that it's just like, you're just fighting to leave it all in. So be careful. Chances are now you arrive back to your bottom line is if you want to improve any area in your life, add to your circle of 5 constantly. There's actually a video by Jason O'Toole. It's called Circle of 5. It's the first video we want to watch. So the leverage, this is where we're getting into the fun stuff. So we already talked about nobody has any time. We all have the same 24 hours in a day, right?
Yes.
Wrong.
Oh, wow.
Wrong. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. So you have you actually have the ability right now, and this is where when you guys really click everything together, this is when it really gets fun, because you have the power of infinite hours. You right now have the power of infinite hours. Now, somebody tell me how that could possibly be, especially with what we do.
No idea. I'm waiting for you to tell me.
So when you encompass the efforts of others, okay, so when you encompass the efforts of others, you now have infinite time. George, if it was just you selling real estate in your office, where do you think that you would have a better chance? Where would you make more money in a year? If it's just you selling, or if you had 10 real estate agents selling?
With 10 real estate agents selling.
Why?
Because they go out and they do some of the work and they bring in some of the money, and I'm out there doing the work and bringing in some of the money too. So the efforts of all 10 of us basically benefit me.
Gotcha. Now, would you think it would be, would you think it would be powerful with yours if you could literally use the power of the compensation plan that we have here, to where people could literally own their own piece of First Advantage Realty, and literally you had a First Advantage Realty office in every single state in North America? If you had like,
and they're all paying me franchise fees, yeah, I'd be good with that.
Guys, that's what you guys have right here. Okay, this is what you guys have right here. You guys have your own McDonald's. You have your own First Advantage Realty. You guys have your own franchise. You guys have your own franchise. So, for example, I actually wrote down an example right here. So, an example of no leverage. You work 3 hours a day, 7 days a week. How many hours did you guys just compose?
21.
21 work hours. Okay, so here's an example of leverage. Okay, you have 10 business partners. Okay, 3 hours of work per day, 7 days a week. What's your work hours look like?
2,100?
110.
231. 231. So 210. So 21 plus or 21 hours times 10, 210 plus your own 21, 231. 231 work hours right there. Everybody say,
Got it.
The power of infinite hours. So if you were to take a group of an organization of, like, for instance, let's say George's group. George, you got about what, 150 people in your organization, maybe close to 200 now?
I have no idea.
Maybe half of them doing anything. So
yeah.
Isn't that exciting to know that you have 75 people putting in 10 hours a week? So George right now in his organization has 750 hours per week, people working for him and his wife and his family.
Wow.
Think about that, how many hours that, and think how many days, how long in a year does it take you to get in your 750 hours?
It's almost done.
Guys, George gets that in a week. Isn't that mind-boggling when you start to think about that, the power of our industry and what we do? It's crazy. So when you encompass the work efforts of others, so nearly 10 straight days worth of work, so your team will always do what you do, not what you say. So it's very important to remember that for duplication purposes. If you really want to grow, your team will always do what you do, not what you say. You cannot expect anyone on your team to take actions if you do not, okay? We have to lead by example. So if we're not watching the videos on VET, if we're not going through the program on VET, if we're not going through if we're not enrolling customers, if we're not paying attention to keeping the positivity, if we're not taking the lessons that we learn from the VET, if we're not learning how to use the waiting room, if we're not literally just going through, if we're just going through the motions, what is our team going to do?
Go through the motions.
If we're intentional and we're getting passionate and we're learning and growing and getting stronger every single day, what's our team going to aspire to do?
Learn and get stronger.
Yeah, they just want to follow what you're doing. They're following your venture leadership. And the reason why I love constantly growing in this industry, because eventually somebody will only follow you long enough until they feel that they cannot be led by anymore. People are following people that they feel like they can lead them to where they want to go. If you're wondering why so many people will drop off in network marketing, is they'll follow somebody for so long, they'll get them to a certain position, and then they'll realize they're like, hey, I'm just staying still here. I'm not moving. I'm not growing. I could be doing this on my own time. I could go do this. So if you're just grabbing a book and then reading out of a book, you know, I have to put my own fabric into all this stuff right here, my own personal lessons that I'm going through, and I have to relate to that right there. Otherwise, if I was just reading this word for word, would you guys find any value out of that? No, I have to use personal stuff. So action step number 2, E, which is the video, is E of example. Be the E of example by John C. Maxwell. The number 1 activity is to execute your IGA. Okay, IGA. So if you do 3 a day, they will do 3 a day. So this is one thing that you're really going to want to work on. Let's see here. So 60-day promoter waiting room. I'm not going to go too much into that. So you guys know that, for instance, when George enrolls Morna, where is Morna for 60 days?
His promoter waiting room.
In the promoter waiting room. So once you move that promoter, how many more times can that promoter be moved again after you move them? So let's say George moves Morna underneath Pam. How many more times is George allowed to move Morna?
We don't know.
0. Once you move them one time, they can never be moved again. Never, ever, ever move somebody in your waiting room. Never touch, never touch, never touch. Basically, the enroller room, the promoter enroller room is built to keep the flexibility of placing promoters you personally enrolled in the right place in your team. The waiting room is a function of our compensation plan. The waiting room is basically like the waiting room is basically like little sticks of dynamite. Has anybody in their business had something to where they were trying to run a promoter in their team or a position in their team, and they maybe were the recipient of a promoter or had a promoter to help somebody break a position, and it was very key to have that promoter waiting in somebody's waiting room, whether it's from your upline or your downline? Has anybody ever used a waiting room to break a position at the last minute of the month, or to use it to break a story? Guys, it's very key. But if you don't have a waiting room, you don't have any sticks of dynamite. You have no leverage. The beauty of our compensation plan is I always make sure I always have 1 or 2 promoters always in my waiting room at all times. I don't necessarily have an idea where I'm going to move them right away. Sometimes I just keep them in my waiting room because I know I might need them for leverage later on down the road. Understanding the weekly cycle. When does our pay week start?
Friday.
When does it end?
Thursday.
When does it pay out?
Monday.
Monday. How important is it to your business that you're giving 1 or 2 people a paycheck every single Monday?
Important.
Highly. On a scale of 1 to 10, how important is it?
10.
10. Like 11. It's like 12. And the reason why is because you're constantly keeping your promoter's belief level high, but it's not that promoter necessarily that you're trying to get excited. Who else are you trying to get excited? Whose else belief level and energy are you trying to keep high?
Me.
Customers.
Oh,
Huh?
Me.
Customers?
No, your other promoters. Did any of you
Oh.
guys ever get excited when you see one of your fellow peers hit national director or area director or regional director when you're seeing other people break stories like that?
Yes.
What you're doing is if you can get people constantly in your organization breaking the enroller pool or the customer pool constantly, what it is when you're breaking those stories, other people's realize it's possible. So it's always constantly keeping everybody else excited. But if you never have any of your promoters hitting the customer pool or the enroller pool, or if you're never hitting the promoter pool or the customer pool, do they believe it's possible and that they can do it?
No.
Do you make money? Does your paycheck depend on how many people that you have, how much money your people make?
Yep.
Yes. So if you're making money, if they're making money, who else is making money?
Me.
You are making money. So the goal here is roll as many customers and promoters personally and you're in your team by Thursday midnight, even if it's only one. Ultimate goal, get yourself back into the pools, help other qualifiers for the pools, master the mindset Thursday by midnight. Thursday by midnight. How many quarters are there in a game?
4.
We joke about this all the time here. So if you're literally running your business like the Detroit Lions, are you going to be a winning team or a losing team?
Losing.
Losing team. If you're running your business like the Patriots or the Broncos, you're going to have a winning team or a losing team.
Winning again?
Why are the championship teams always winning? Because they play all 4 quarters. It's as simple as that. And it's exactly how our weekly cycle works. So the 3 steps to Rising Star, helping your promoters go through the GST. After every presentation, there must be a get started training. Set their schedule. We need to set their schedule. I watch so many people all the time. They just like, oh, well, I reminded them. I sent a text message to them. But you literally have to set your promoters' schedules. Schedule their book party. Help them with their challenge hours within 48 hours. Why do we have to help people within 48 hours with their challenge hours?
Because they're new and they don't know what they're doing.
They're new, they don't know what they're doing, and they're going to go out there and start yapping. They'll start their yapping, and then they're going to start getting beat up. So make the first 5 calls with them. We got other people jumping on here right now. That's right, for our 9:15 class here. So let's go ahead and go into, I'm going to cover the last part. I'm just going to give you guys the action steps right here for right now because we're just now getting finished up anyways. And I will post this portion right here. So the action steps for month 2, week summary 1, plan 1. So let's go over the goal for the week 1 here. Do you guys remember what the goals was?
one customer, one promoter.
Enroll 1 customer, 1 promoter personally this week. By when?
Tomorrow.
Thursday. Why Thursday?
Because that's when the pay week ends.
Because you're going to get a paycheck here. I personally, if I were you, would be going for their promoter pool check or a customer pool check. Go get a promoter pool check and go show them that it's possible. Help your promoter enroll a personal promoter or a customer. Help your customer enroll a customer. Action steps. Continue to connect your new customers and your new promoters to your upline. Schedule 2 challenge hours and continue your 3 per day. Have a challenge party and attend a party for one of your promoters or customers. Watch the new compensation plan at compplan.vi.com on the waiting room. And that might not be in there, but keep an eye out there for that this week. Watch the webinar recording of director training, moving stars to cars, and that's in your back office. Connect each customer and promoter to your upline that is stuck somewhere in the system. I'm going to post this on here too. So go back through your network list and get 10 total referrals from people that didn't join as a customer promoter. So the referral training, that's also on there. So here's the action steps, the videos, what we're going to do from VET. Okay? The VET videos are The Circle of Five by Jason O'Toole, E of Example by John C. Maxwell, and Referral Marketing from Nick Sarnicola.
Do you have the numbers for those?
Yeah, I'm going to post this picture right here on as soon as we're done. So it'll be posted right on your guys' April ADers. And so all the action steps will be right there. So sound good?
Can you post the one from last week? Because I never found that one from Nick. The mountain one.
Yes, I can actually post. I'll post both of them on there. So guys, do me a huge favor. Make sure that we're not just going through the what? Motions. Because what it is if it's continually showing up to this class over and over and over again and just limping through the motions, not watching the videos, not following the action steps, it's fine, but it just might not necessarily be, the lid for you. We might just have to remove it and just maybe redo it or something like that. It might just be too much. We don't want this business to be, it's not supposed to be overwhelming. We all have busy lives and stuff like that, so it's not supposed to be like that. So, great job today, you guys. Go ahead, Dave.
Real quick before you get off, right at the very beginning you said PBV at 1750, and I missed right after that. The next one was 1 VIP reward points.
Yeah, that's the total target, $1,000 of income and getting your customers, one or more customers getting VIP reward points.
Okay.
And then getting your Premier Kit.
You become a rising star and one person on your team is a rising star.
Yeah. Yep, that was one of them too. Yeah.
Right.
Rising star with one rising star, 1750 PCD, qualify for weekly customer pools.
That's what it was. That's the one I missed. Okay. All right.
Hey guys. Well, congratulations. So Katie, Diane, Pam, Morna, you guys are free to go. Great job.
Peace.
Oh yeah, Dave George too. You can go on too. No, you don't have to listen. Feel free to stay out if you guys want.
Well, I want to see who hops on here.
Okay, sounds good. What's up, studads and studettes?
Hello.
Man, Zoom. This is all we do. Zoom. Training. Zoom. All righty, so we got Shantae, Erica, Dovin, Krista. Okay. Okay, so who are we missing here? 7:15. I'm going to go ahead and, oh, Megan. Oh, these are Pete's. Oh, they were on here. They jumped off when we were just finishing up. They thought they were on the wrong one. So let me go message them back. Numbers. Okay, here we go. Okay, who are we missing? Bernadette. There you go. That's what we're missing. Bernadette, Liz, Jenny, Jody. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and get started just out of respect for everybody that's here. And let's go ahead and move in. So, Happy Sunday, y'all.
Happy Sunday to you.
Happy Sunday. So, welcome to month 1, week 3. Everybody have a good week?
Yep.
Yeah? Everybody get some value out of the lesson from last week?
Yep.
Yeah? Anybody get any value out of the local LSTs y'all just been coming from? I think we just finished up the round from May, right? May is now done with LSTs, right? We're all done with LSTs. We only have the one team, one dream family barbecue, and that's coming up on what date?
The 29th.
29th. Anybody going to that?
Yes.
Jordan and I are.
Did you guys all go to the Facebook event and click going?
Yes.
Okay. So what I want to make sure everybody's doing is if you have people in your team that are going, make sure they click going. And because we're going to automatically assume that it is a +1, or unless you guys actually go out there and let us know who's all going to that, because what's going to happen is the amount of people that are going, we might be forced to, the people that aren't being compliant, the people that aren't letting us know that they're coming, we might end up having to be forced to just give wristbands to everybody beforehand that clicked going, and they're the ones that can actually have the ribs and the meat and everything like that, because you know, if only 20 people click going and we have 100 people there, is it fair to the 20 people that registered in advance that they were going?
No.
So we don't want to be looking like a bunch of turds that we have like meat for 20 people or 30 people and 100 people show up. We want to make sure that everybody feels welcome and organized and all that good old stuff right there. So if you guys could kindly, I'll actually put that on a thread, the invitation to the barbecue there on the 29th. Make sure we just keep going. So the key learnings that we learned about last week. I don't know about you guys, but that right there was my favorite for all the new promoters and when you start getting into that type of content. Because last week what we did is we learned about the entrepreneur roller coaster. Now that one right there is that's when I first started understanding and first started realizing to not focus on everybody else's start date. Did that help relieve any stress out of anybody's life, or was that a sigh of relief for anybody out there when you hear stuff like that other people go on a roller coaster too? And just to focus on what you can control, not everybody else's start date. Was that like a relief for anybody else when they hear that type of stuff?
Me.
It's huge. It's big time. Last week we also learned about, the activity versus productivity, where to spend your VI time. So your VI time. Now, what's your VI time?
Income generating activity.
Yep, kind of. Well, it's not always that. So your VI time is, so if you're spending 10 hours on VI per week, that's your VI time.
Oh.
Okay? And yes, you're right in that, because does anybody remember how we divide up our activities? So we got VI time. So there's 60% into what in your VI time?
60% IGA.
IGAs, 20% into.
Follow
Retention.
customers and promoters.
Yep, and then 20% into.
Education.
What was the last one?
Education.
Education, very good. Oh, shoot.